This is going to be a spoiler review for the movie Rosemead. I've seen it twice now, so I wanted to get some interesting details down because I recently read the article that the film is based off. This is a movie directed by Eric Lin in his film debut about Irene and Shou. They are a single mother. They had recently lost their husband, father, a year ago, and her son Shou has schizophrenia. So he's going to a mental health center to sort of get treatment and keep an eye on his episodes and take medicine. However, Irene, she runs a print shop and her cancer returns. So it's kind of a really bad situation because her cancer is back and she'll be having to deal with this, and he's going to be off to college or university soon. When I first watched this movie, I didn't know what the plot was. If you're unfamiliar, Rosemead is based off a true story about a mom with cancer who ended up committing filicide on her son because he had schizophrenia and she was afraid he was going to commit some sort of mass shooting. And it's based off an article. And then the movie was so moving for me that I made my friend go before I left theaters. And he didn't quite enjoy the film as much. Like, he understood it, but he didn't, he wasn't emotionally affected as much as I was. And I was curious. So I read the article, and man, they made some major changes. I really liked the film. Lucy Liu gives a brave, very stunning fob performance. But man, the article that it's based off is really threadbare, barely giving you any sort of details. So the person who adapted that article had to add a lot of stuff in, and it definitely feels a little bit more manipulative than normal. For starters, the film, essentially the through line is that Irene's cancer is back, so she's going to be dead within a year. And her son Shou is exhibiting more schizophrenic outbursts because he starts skipping his medicine, and he goes homeless for a week after he runs away from school. He's also researching school shootings, and he's popping by the gun store a lot. So Irene has to find a way to help him, but after he disappears for a week, she decides to take him to his favorite spot growing up, a motel, and they watch some movies and eat Thai food and have cake for his birthday. She gets him some new shoes, and then she shoots him while he's sleeping. In real life, she did the same thing, but then she laid in the bed after for a bit and then called the police. And in the movie, they have a lot of side characters that are helping, but in the article, they weren't supposed to be there. According to the article, Irene didn't have a friend who cared about the schizophrenia thing because she's got a very supportive friend who runs the shop next to the print shop. She runs a herbal medicine shop, and she gives her the deed to the building and everything so she can give the money to Shou, but we know that she's not giving the money to Shou because she's taking him out. And then the movie also has a couple of two friends for Shou that sort of keep an eye on him. He's going for a swimming thing at the beginning, and then later they give him some solidarity at a party. So they might have been made up for the movie just to give him, some hope or something to show that there's people looking out for him. But in reality, there could have been no one. So it definitely paints a much bleaker portrait. I don't know why the movie decided to add these sort of stopgaps to the film, because they definitely take away from the isolation factor. Also, the original article mentions that Irene never went to the therapy sessions for Shou, but in the movie she does, so that she can find out about his favorite memories of the motel, and that's why she takes him there to the end. So they definitely made some changes to make Irene less of a monster. Not a monster, but she basically was a woman that was so isolated and so stigmatized about her son, she would rather shoot him with a gun than try to find help for him or call the police or do something. She was too embarrassed. And the movie does play with that a little bit when they go to a party and there's some gossip about the mental health stuff. But the movie definitely tries a little bit harder to sort of add in stuff that wasn't there to make things more palatable, when it didn't need to do that, because in real life, I guess it was a really bad situation. Also, the article itself doesn't give a lot of info, so you have to fill in the gaps. But if you do it in a wrong way, people can still find that article and read about it. And obviously, this isn't a one-for-one. This isn't a documentary. This is a drama film based off those events. But adding in certain things, I guess, can change the way the film feels. Like maybe Shou, or maybe the boy in the article never went homeless for a week, but they added that in the movie. Makes the situation a lot more hard and more escalates things. Also in real life, the boy, the teenager that it's based off of, he was also into Hitler because he did a project about Hitler and he didn't get rid of the material, so the mom just assumed he's into Hitler. So that wasn't in the movie, but They definitely played up, he was definitely into school shootings and certain shooters, especially the Aurora, Colorado guy. So that's something that they sort of just glossed over in the movie, just sort of was looking at articles or whatever. So it's still an interesting film. I don't knock it down in terms of score. I don't really do that. I still watched it twice before the article and enjoyed it both times. So it just goes to show how different adaptation can be and what things can change when you have to, you know, fill in the gaps, because the article itself is not enough to make a movie, but you have to add certain things, and the things they added sort of were a little bit conflicting with the article itself, like the exact opposite. Mainly Irene's friend, Joe's friends, and Irene going to therapy with her son. So they definitely made some large changes there, and that might be a detriment to the film later, but it's still a strong drama for sure. So I just wanted to get that off my chest, because I really liked the subject matter and the movie and the acting and the original article. I wanted to know more about it and the interesting themes about mental health. So that's my spoiler review of Rosemead.